Give me 10 minutes of your time and I'll teach you the free system method I use to finish track after track to a high standard. No matter what level you are, you'll be able to understand this video, so do not fear. I'll also be fixing up one of my tracks as we go so you can see the process in action. So stick around to the end of the video to see the comparison of what it sounded like before versus after. And if you want to learn to implement this system in depth, make sure to check out my Music Production Academy, link down below for more information on that. So throughout this video, we're going to be building a pizza, just so you can easily visualize the process. We're going to start with the pizza base for step 1. So this is holding the entire pizza together, making sure it doesn't fall apart. And this is going to be your sound selection. The most important part of making music is making sure the right sounds are in your track. If you've got rubbish sounds, no matter what you do after that, you're going to be coming out with a pizza looking like this every time. And for your sound selection, I want you to focus on 2 types of sounds. Firstly, transient sounds. These are sounds that don't actually have a key. For example, a short kick drum, hi-hats, white noise effects, any sound where a pitch cannot be detected. Secondly, tonal sounds. These are sounds that have a key. For example, melodies, chords, basses, vocals, anything where a specific pitch can be detected. Now let's look at my example. So let me play you a track that I've made, and I haven't really put much thought into it. I've just shoved all the elements on. So right now, the track just sounds a bit of a mess. So let's look at the kick drum first. So I've got 3 kick drums here to show you as an example. Let's listen to each one. Normally I'd go for a lot more kick drums before picking the one that fits best. But let's just listen. So this one, kick 1, kick 2, kick 3. Now just from listening to them on their own, you can't really decide which one sounds best. You'll be able to choose it when you can hear it in context with the rest of the tune. So I can't pick the best kick drum right now, but the one I went with is kick 1. So we'll mute the others and then later I'll show you why I went with that one. Now let's look at the snare. So this is snare 1 here, snare 2, snare 3. Let's listen to these. That's the first one, that's the second, that's the third. That's more of a clap. And again, I went with the first one, but in context, you can't hear why, but I'll show you that later as well. And then the hi-hats here, I went with these ones. So altogether, I went with this one and this one to get the drums that sound like this. Now the bass that I've gone for here, listen to this. So I've kind of just picked some random notes, but this has got a tone and the vocal actually is in G minor. So I really need to focus on a progression in G minor, and I can come to here, scale highlighting and put it in G minor like this, and then turn this on. Then I can create something in G minor instead. So why not instead something like this? That's a bit more complicated. Now there's a lot more going on. It's in G minor, which matches the vocal, so it works a lot better. So we fixed the sound selection. Let's listen to what it sounds like now. You can see it's already starting to sound a lot better just from picking the right samples. You'll be able to notice that that kick drum and that snare also sound a lot better now as well. Now let's move on to the source, step 2. This is going to be your sound levels. This is going to be where each individual element in your track needs to sit volume wise. Now I mix loud. I've got loads of tutorials on this. I'll leave a few in the description down below. So I'll show you what I've done on this example. So the kick drum I've gone for, that's the loudest element, comes in just below 0 dB. The snare as well, this is going to be coming in just a little bit quieter than the kick drum. You can see there. And then the hi-hats are going to be coming in a little quieter than that. The bass we need to fix. So currently it's coming in quite quiet, but when I turn on all this post-processing, you'll see now it's coming in very loud, and you can see we've got a drum bus, our bass bus here. They're both pretty much matching because we've got some parallel compression, parallel distortion happening here as well. And if you want this project template so you can follow along a lot more easily, there's a free download to that in the description down below. It just sets it all out for you, so it's all done for you. You get all these different buses, all these elements, all the color coding, and it makes things a lot easier. So that's fixed that. It's now mixing loud. and then the vocal. So I like to use some post-processing on this as well. So we've got our Klar vocals, and when this is turned on, you can see
Stop, move your feet, turn it up.
it's also pretty much matching the volume there. And then to control the levels on the master channel, to get it really loud, I'm going through a G clip, so a clipper, and then going through a Pro L as well. And if you want to go even louder, you could boost this gain up a bit on there as well. And then this Uline just follows the integrated LUFS.
Stop, move your feet, turn it up.
So you can see I'm getting -4 there. If I was to turn these up even more, I could get it up to -3. So you can see the main element of the post-processing is actually just to bring the volumes up in like a fancy way using plugins. And it also like polishes some of the sounds up as well, makes them more clear in the mix. And now we can finally add the cheese and the rest of the toppings in step 3. Don't know about you guys, but I prefer just a margarita pizza. I might get a lot of slack for this in the comments, but you can't go wrong with a good margarita pizza. So this step 3 is all about sound placement. So let's have a look at this graph here on the screen right now. You can see we've got stereo on the left, mono centered in the middle, stereo right on the right. And you'll see our kick drum, our snare, our vocals, our sub bass all sit in the middle, and then everything else sort of sits around it. And you'll see the hertz range on the left and the right as well. So that's the EQ range that goes from all the way from 50 hertz to 20k hertz that the human ear can hear. So let's go through and fix each individual element to their right place. So first, the kick drum. So you can see right now, we've got it in 100% separated stereo, so that's completely wrong. So we can simply just move this here and put it in mono. Now it's sitting right in the middle like that graph. Now the snare, again, this is sitting 100% in stereo, so we'll move this all the way to mono like this. Now it's sitting in the center. There we go, much better. Now the hi-hats, for some reason these are sitting all the way in mono, so let's move these across and make them a bit wider. You don't have to go 100%, like somewhere like this is fine. There we go. Now let's come to the bass. So this bass here, what I actually need to do is separate this. So like this, and then all this sound is quite wide. There's even a reverb on it, making it more wide, but we need to add a sub. So let me get a sub up. So we've got the sub bass here. Let me turn it on, and you just copy the melody, and then this sub will now be playing the low end. So if I play it on its own, so now this sub bass is sitting entirely in this low end. We can make it in mono like this, and then with the bass as well, it should sound great. And then this main vocal can be a bit wide as well, and it's also got a reverb on it here at the bottom, and that should be fine. So now we finished the 3-step process. We've put our pizza in the oven, and it's come out looking very tasty. But before I show you the before and after, let's just go back to those initial kick drum and snare choices, and I'll show you what it sounds like with the different choices. So kick drum 2 with snare 2. Let's listen to how that sounds. So the actual kick drum doesn't sound too bad, but the snare sounds very muddy in the mix. And I could try EQing that for ages, but it's just easier to look for a different sample. Now let's listen to kick 3 and snare 3, or the clap. Now I think you can quite easily tell there that the kick is just way too aggressive, doesn't fit the mix at all, and that clap doesn't really fit the energy of the track either. Kick 1 and snare 1 clearly fit the track better, and that's just better sound selection. There's barely any post-processing going on these sounds. So now let's look at the before and after of this little project, so you can see just the difference it makes when you pick the right sounds, when you set them at the right level, and you put them in the right place in your mix. Now, what do you think of that? How does the before sound versus how does the after sound? I think the after sounds much better, but let me know in the comments what you think. Now, everything I've just shown you there, I show in much more detail in my Music Production Academy. There's over 14 hours of courses which teaches you the entire process to finish track after track in detail. There's one-to-one feedback from myself and the community inside. So if that's something that interests you, check out the link down below. You get unlimited free updates as well as it progresses and as the community grows. If you feel like you learned something in this video, please don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I release a new video every single week on Thursday, and that way you'll never miss a tutorial. And if you enjoyed this video, why not check this video out where I go into more detail about my mixing method and how I mix loud and get a clean and loud mix every single time.